to anyone? Caitlin Clark was in the kitchen cooking they ass today with a spectacular performance. Caitlin Clark whipped up a pot of something today. She was...
That energy right there tells you everything you need to know about what just happened in Seattle. Caitlin Clark didn't just play well against the Storm. She dismantled them on 21 points and just 10 shots. But the most controversial moment of this game had nothing to do with Clark scoring. It had to do with the woman standing on the sideline pulling her off the court.
Indiana Fever needed this type of performance. And you know what the crazy thing is? She didn't even need all the ingredients in the house to do it. She didn't need a lot of shots. She didn't need a lot of this, a lot of that. She, the bare minimum, salt, pepper, oil, a little bit of Old Bay seasoning, and she made it do what it do. Caitlin Clark put on an absolute show today. 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, 2 steals. And she had this 21 points on just 10 shots. 2 of 4 from 3. Caitlin Clark put on an absolute display today. And if
21 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals on just 10 field goal attempts. 2 of 4 from 3. That's a stat line you'd expect to see from a player taking 18-20 shots. Clark did it on efficiency that bordered on absurd. And the wildest part of the conversation right now is not whether she's the best player on the Indiana Fever. It's whether her own head coach is actively costing her individual milestones and costing this team additional wins.
My stance isn't changing at all. Stephanie White's ass has got to go. She did it again. Stephanie White did it again in the first quarter when Caitlin Clark was absolutely kicking their you-know-what in the first quarter. It is 5 minutes left in the first quarter. 5 minutes. Stephanie White's taking her out already. Why do you insist on taking Caitlin Clark out so early and so often? She is fine. She played 5 minutes. She had already had like 7 points, 3 assists, and we're up 13. And what is Stephanie White doing? Making this
5 minutes into the first quarter. 5 minutes. The Indiana Fever are up 13. Clark already has 7 points and 3 assists, and Stephanie White walks her to the bench. This is the same pattern viewers saw in the previous game against Atlanta. Build a lead with your franchise player, sit your franchise player, watch the lead evaporate, then scramble in the second half to recover what should have been a 30-point blowout. The pattern is not a one-game blip. It's a system. And the system is not working for an Indiana Fever team that needed this win badly to stabilize a season that has already absorbed a hamstring injury, a quad injury, and a groin injury to its starting point guard.
Poor coaching. That bum of a coach needs to be fired. She needs to go. I don't need to see anymore. I don't need to see any of it. Stephanie White has got to go, and she needs to be out immediately. Okay, she needs to be out immediately. We don't need to play this game with Stephanie White. I've seen enough. Caitlin Clark was in the kitchen cooking that ass today, and Stephanie White did everything she could to cool her off per usual. And we're going to get to this Kelsey Mitchell situation.
This is where the conversation around Stephanie White stops being about strategy and starts being about job security. The Indiana Fever entered this season with a roster constructed around 2 All-Stars in Clark and Aaliyah Boston, a veteran scorer in Kelsey Mitchell, and a defensive utility piece in Lexi Hull. On paper, this team should be top 4 in the Eastern Conference. Through the early stretch of the season, they've been inconsistent at best. Today, against a depleted Seattle Storm missing Dominique Malonga and other key contributors, this was supposed to be a statement win. Beat them by 25, beat them by 30, send a message to the league. Instead, the Fever won by 11 and let a tanking team hang around for 40 minutes.
3 straight games, she has not gotten a single rebound. And Kelsey Mitchell was not good today. Don't let these numbers confuse you. Kelsey Mitchell had 17 points on 8 of 18 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. Kelsey Mitchell was jacking up shots. Every single time she touches the ball, she shoots it. And it is ridiculous to me at this point. Kelsey, you don't have to shoot it just because you have it. It's okay. The world is not gonna end because you did not shoot the...
Now we have to talk about Kelsey Mitchell, because the Caitlin Clark conversation cannot be separated from the Kelsey Mitchell conversation any longer. 17 points on 8 of 18 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. The next highest shot total on the Fever roster today was 9 attempts. 9. Mitchell doubled the next closest player on her own team. And before anyone defends those numbers by pointing to her scoring average, look at the rebound column. 3 straight games with 0 rebounds for a starting guard who is 6 feet tall in a league where rebounding by guards is mandatory. Today she had 2 assists and 0 rebounds. Last game, 1 assist and 0 rebounds. The volume scoring is masking a deeper problem with her overall floor impact.
The girl at one point, she took 17 shots. The next highest amount was 9. Kelsey was literally, there was a play where there was a 3-on-1 fast break. Sophie Cunningham's running on the left wing. It's 3 Indiana Fever players on 1. Kelsey Mitchell is pushing the ball on the break down the middle of the floor. You are supposed to attack the defender, make them stop the ball, and you drop it off for a layup. Kelsey Mitchell on a 3-on-1 fast break shoots a pull-up 2-point jumper. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Pass the damn
3-on-1 fast break. Sophie Cunningham running the left wing. 1 defender to beat. The rule from a youth basketball clinic is the same rule in the WNBA. You attack the defender, force them to commit, and you drop the ball off to your wing for the uncontested layup. Mitchell pulls up for a 2-point jumper. That is not aggressive basketball. That is selfish basketball wearing aggressive basketball's clothes. And it's the kind of decision that has Indiana Fever fans questioning whether Mitchell's role needs to be restructured before the playoff push. When Caitlin Clark is averaging double-digit assists and you have shooters around her who actually move without the ball, your job as the secondary scorer is to play within the offense, not against it.
She was spectacular today and made it look effortless. Now, Sophie Cunningham definitely came in off the bench and gave this team a major spark. She gave this team a major spark. Sophie Cunningham off the bench as Lexie Hall was reinserted into the starting lineup, which is something I was looking forward to because Lexie Hall, she cuts. She is 6. It's 1 Lexie, 2 Lexie, 3 Lexie, 4. 5. It's 6 Lexie Halls out there at all times. She's everywhere. She's a menace on the defensive end, and she knows how to play off of Caitlin Clark. You saw the cuts and all of that good stuff. So I was happy she was reinserted into the starting lineup. Lexie Hall had 9 points for.
Sophie Cunningham is the second story of this game, and she's the silver lining for a Fever team trying to figure out its identity. 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 17 points off the bench with 3 rebounds, a block, and a steal. This is exactly why the experiment of moving Cunningham to a 6th player role makes sense for this roster. With Clark, Mitchell, and Boston demanding touches in the starting lineup, the team needed bench scoring it could trust. Lexie Hull's value is defense, cutting, and connective tissue. She's not a shot creator. Cunningham is, and she's converting at a rate that gives this offense a second life in the 8 to 12-minute stretches when Clark is resting.
The Indiana Fever are gonna have to figure some things out because they let this is a bad Seattle Storm team. This is a bad team, especially the one they played today because they didn't have a lot of people. They didn't have a lot of players healthy. And you should have stomped them. The fact you only beat them by 11 and you let them hang around is a really bad sign. Okay, you got the Portland Fire coming up next. I would consider that another must win. Okay, you need to go out there and beat that expansion team because they don't have a very good roster either. But this day, a win is a win. Stephanie White, damn.
Here is the full picture of where the Indiana Fever stand after this game. And there is a lot to process for fans who are trying to decide whether to be excited or concerned about this team's trajectory. Start with the positives, because there are real positives. Caitlin Clark looks like Caitlin Clark again. The hesitation that crept into her shot selection during the groin recovery is gone. She's pulling up from 28 feet with confidence. She's drawing contact and finishing through it. She's making the connective passes that turn good offense into great offense. The 21 points on 10 shots is the most efficient game of her professional career to date, and it came against a defense that had been keying on her since the opening tip. Aaliyah Boston posted 19 points and continues to be the steadying force in the paint that this team built its long-term plan around. She didn't shoot well, 3 of 14 from the floor, but she rebounded, she defended, and she was a willing screener for Clark in the high pick and roll all afternoon. Boston is not a problem on this team. Boston is part of the solution. Lexie Hull's return to the starting lineup paid immediate dividends. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and the kind of off-ball cutting that makes Caitlin Clark's passing look even more impressive than it already is. Hull is the perfect connector for a Clark-led offense because she understands spacing and she understands timing. Reinserting her over a more ball-dominant option was the right call by the coaching staff, and credit goes where credit is due. Now move to the concerns, because they are significant. Stephanie White's rotation decisions are creating self-inflicted wounds week after week. Pulling Caitlin Clark out at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter when she has 7 points and 3 assists is not load management, it's lead management malpractice. The Fever have now blown 2 double-digit first-quarter leads in their last 3 games because the head coach refuses to ride the hot hand when it matters. Kelsey Mitchell's shot selection is the other unresolved question. There is a version of Mitchell that fits perfectly next to Clark. It's the version that takes 12 high-percentage shots, runs off pin-down screens, and lets the offense come to her. The version playing in Seattle today took 18 shots, settled for contested mid-range pull-ups, and ignored open teammates in transition. If that version of Mitchell continues to start, the ceiling on this team is capped at first-round playoff exit. The schedule does not get easier from a quality perspective, even though it gets easier on paper. The Portland Fire are next, an expansion roster that should be a tune-up game. If the Indiana Fever play this Portland matchup the way they played today against Seattle, treating a tanking opponent like a contender, they will leave that game embarrassed by a single-digit final score that should have been 30. This is the moment in the season where habits become patterns and patterns become identity. The Fever can fix the Stephanie White issue with a staff change at the All-Star break. They can fix the Kelsey Mitchell issue with a frank conversation about role and responsibility. They cannot fix a habit of letting bad teams hang around. That has to be addressed now, this week, before the league's better teams start watching the film and noticing the same vulnerabilities. So here's the question for everyone watching this team. Are you more concerned about Stephanie White's minute management or Kelsey Mitchell's shot selection? Because those are the 2 issues that will decide whether Indiana finishes as a 5 seed and gets bounced in the first round or breaks through and makes a deep playoff run behind a transcendent Caitlin Clark season. Drop your answer in the comments. Let me know which problem you would solve first if you were running this franchise tomorrow morning. And if you've made it this far in the breakdown, do me a favor and hit the like button, tap subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the post-game reaction when the Fever face Portland later this week. Keep the vision and I'll see you in the next one.